So basically, I've seen Bryan now for, oh gosh, it's probably been at least 5 years. And so what first happened, I had went into the clinic. At one point, the clinic had acupuncture. And of course, I had never tried that before. So I thought, well, heck, let's give that a whirl. And then they had mentioned, well, we got Asian Bodywork in here. And I had talked to another buddy of mine that he goes to another gal in another town. Anyway, long story short, started seeing Bryan for that. Basically what it was is my shoulder. I was having some issues with where I could barely move my shoulder at all. Within probably, well, the doctors all wanted to cut it up and get me on pain pills, you name it. That wasn't going to happen because I'm not a big fan of cutting myself up, I guess is the best way of putting it. And so went to Bryan for the first round. I actually had mobility that first day that I had seen him, and then went over a period, I want to say it was about 6 months. And then what happened was, because we were moving it on the right-hand side, it ended up migrating across to the left-hand side. And so for another 5-6 months or so, which is the way the body works, is kind of a strange animal, to be quite honest with you. But I've known the Chinese channels. So Bryan and I are always talking about how, well, when I'm doing this, it's going to potentially do this or vice versa. So, and I'm kind of one who, no pain, no gain. So if it's going to be necessary to have pain and it works in the long run, that's what matters. So anyway, long story short, both the shoulders got mobility back. I would say it was probably under a year that both shoulders ended up with full mobility back. And then just been seeing him on and off for, the other, I would say my schedule primarily is why I see him on and off, because I'm always out of town. And so one of the things that happened this last time was went in to see him, and he's like, well, your shoulder's doing so good. Anything else you want to work on? And I made the mistake of saying, well, my ankles pop out every once in a while, so what the heck, let's work on those. So he did some work, and some things were a little bit tender, shall we say. And I went home that night, and my fiance went out to bingo. And by the time we got done with bingo, my knee was really hurting. I got to be honest with you. I went into my chiropractor. My chiropractor looked at it, and he goes, well, the bones are all in. Everything's fine there. And, of course, my doctor, well, why don't you come on in? We'll get you some pain pills and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I think I'll pass. I'll just try and, do it out. And so I had called Bryan, and he had some ideas of what we could do to try and mediate the pain before I got in there. Long story short, I went on Friday, and when I went in, I said, I don't care, Bryan, how much it hurts. All I know is I have to be able to bend my knee before I leave here. An hour later, I had minor, be able to bend my knee probably about 6 inches or so. I'm not going to lie, it hurt like hell. It hurt like hell when he was working it. And when it got done, by that evening, I was able to bend it probably 10 to 12 inches. By Saturday, granted, there was a little bit of pain, but I had full bending capability. It was literally when I get to a certain point that it would only start hurting. And by Sunday, Monday, basically it just kept getting better and better and better. And by the time I had seen him the following week, they had made another appointment. Normally I go every 2 weeks, but this particular instance, I want to make sure it was better because I had to be on the road down to Missouri. And sure as heck, by Friday, we had full mobility, and now today, I'm bending at full boat. So it's full attestment to how the channels work and everything else. So, once again, don't be afraid to be on the table and be underneath a little bit of pain, because if I didn't have that little bit of pain, I'd still be Peg Leg Pete. So.
Wow. So did Bryan kind of talk you through maybe what was happening once the stuff translated from the ankle to the knee? And did he kind of explain some of why that might have happened?
Yeah, so basically, I've been having these pains on the inside of my thigh. I thought they were blood clots. My mom, she's a big herbal, well, always has been an herbalist. Western medicine is definitely not our forte. So we go more with the natural approach. And so one of the things that my mom was tested for was factor five. And about 2 years ago, she was actually in the hospital. She had thrombosis where she had a blood clot. And so I always thought it was blood clots in my leg on the inside. And Bryan goes, no, that's this channel here. And yours is pretty flamed up. So basically what had happened is that thing started down at my ankle. So what happened when he was working the lower end, normally he said if he has enough time, he'll work his way up all the way to the groin area. And I got to be honest with you, when I was on the table and he was working it, yeah, it wasn't fun. But yeah, so yeah, no, we had talked about it a little bit after the fact. He had made the comment was, oh wow, you got a lot of stuff happening here, and yeah, a lot of stuff, all right, because obviously I couldn't bend my knee for a week, and when I say amputation was an option, oh yes.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's definitely a testament to the process, and good on you to be able to tough it out and stay in it because that's really where you start seeing results, when you can commit to it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm curious, you've been seeing Brian for about 5 years. Have you noticed any change in his style? I think he's, you know,
No, he's been very consistent. He has a deal where he does the Tin Man,
yeah,
and so there's always opportunities where if I have mobility issues or whatever, pain in my back, my hips or whatever, he'll show me little routines once in a while that I do when I'm on the road or when I'm in the car, and so those help with a lot of the pain issues that are associated with. I, I I sit behind a desk or I sit behind a car or I sit in a plane. I do a lot of sitting, and it's not good for the body in there to sit. So
yeah.
whenever I'm home, I'm trying to get my butt up and walk around. So I'll be like I am right now. I'm on the phone while I'm walking around. So try and get as much mobility as I can. So, yep.
Yeah, that's so important. When you guys spoke on the phone and he was giving you recommendations, did he recommend some of the mobility stuff?
Not really for when the knee hurt
Yeah,
because he didn't want to aggravate it any more than it already was.
right.
So what we primarily did for that was there was a hot, let me think about that, ginger. You grate ginger and you make a poultice out of the ginger. Take a wet rag as hot as you physically stand, put it on there. So we did that, and then there was um, some slight massage type stuff, just basically working it very little because the biggest thing is he didn't know where he had an idea where the pain was originating, but didn't have, without seeing me, he didn't want me to start pushing on things, and it makes something else wonderful because I'm serious. Yeah, I went in my garage with a hacksaw. It was so bad. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look at your face. You're like, "Oh, are you kidding?" No, I'm not kidding. I am serious. A tourniquet and a hacksaw was an option. I've heard people say that amputation hurts really bad. I got to be honest with you. That's probably some of the worst pain I've ever had. I mean, it was waking me out of a dead sleep, and I could pretty much sleep through an atomic bomb in my backyard. I guarantee it.
I
So,
think, that's what happens when we have like years and years and years of buildup, and then you start moving that stuff around and it has to go somewhere. And that's the part of the process I think people sometimes don't understand is you have to really stay on it and follow it like with your shoulders, you have to follow it through to its conclusion.
oh yeah, it's not a I mean, I know a lot of people want to take a pill, oh, I need to lose weight, so what pill am I going to take today? Oh, hey, there's this shake online I just saw. Boom, I drink that shake. Hey, I'm going to be thin. Woo, you name it. Hello. Yeah, no, the body is, it takes time to heal. It took time in her to get it there. It's going to take time to get it back. So, and yeah, it is what it is, guys. You want to make it happen. You've done something in your life, whether it be smoking or some job that you worked at that beat you up. Hell, even lifestyle changes, just in general, your stress, all of that. Your body, it lives inside you. As soon as you don't fix it, that's why the channels get all messed up. So the Chinese, I don't know how many thousands of years, Bryan would probably know this, but how many thousands of years Chinese medicine has been around? We haven't been a country for what?
Yeah.
1776. So we haven't even touched on the tens of thousands of years that the Chinese have got ahead of us. So, and the Hindus even, the Ayurvedic medicine. So, obviously they know something we don't. Their longevity is way better than ours. And you go over there, there's very little surgery. I mean, there's a little bit more catching on, but nothing near as much as what we are here. I mean, that's the first thing the doctors want to do. Oh, gosh, you got pain in your shoulder? No problem. Oh, we're going to go inside there. We're going to cut this off. We're going to cut, this is in the wrong spot. How's that work? I think you were created by an entity that is way beyond what our capabilities know. And the fact is, he knew way better than any doctor will ever know. And to do it naturally, that's the best way of doing it, if you can. Now, granted, there are situations where surgery is inevitable. I mean, if you got a fractured spine or you have a disc that's bone on bone, stuff like that happens. I've got friends of mine that are completely disabled because of traffic accidents. So that's extenuating circumstances. But even for someone like that, there might be options if you go see someone like Bryan prior to or at the same time. So definitely want to look into those options before you start, go with the surgery option first. Definitely want to look at the other ones first.
Yeah. Yeah, the body is an extraordinary self-healing machine. If we give it the right stimulus, the body really wants to be healthy and in homeostasis. And I completely agree with you. It's very easy to get behind someone like Bryan, who genuinely wants people to be healthy and happy and feel good, and is sitting on such amazing technique and knowledge because he's so extremely knowledgeable.
Yeah. Yep. Yep, he definitely knows his stuff, no doubt about it. My chiropractor don't like it very much, though, because I haven't had to go into the chiropractor as often as I used to either. So, and I know that's where a lot of that stuff sits, is that when you get that irritation, it moves right into your neck, my upper, top of my thorax, all that moves right into my neck. And when it does, man, I tell you what, I'm an owly individual. So, if I have pain in that area, it's all bets are off. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to the chiropractor. So, but yeah, so that by working these channels all this time and everything else, doing the cupping, all the oils that he uses. So yeah, it's just, he knows exactly where to push. And sometimes, it might hurt, but he knows what he's doing. So he'll get to talking to you and talk you through it. And if you want to make it happen, Bryan's the man for the job for sure.